tons of great performances from U21s and U19s this week. So the emerging player selection this week is a little bit harder than it usually is. Aaman Patel is joining me again. He wasn't with me last week. Last week I had Mr. Savage himself. This week I have Mr. Combs himself. Well, what do you want to be called? And Mr.
I don't know, Nate. I'm not the ones who come up with these nicknames. I think you're the better one at this. Again, you came up with the mustache for Luke Schofield, Savage for Calvin Savage. I think if we give you a couple of weeks, you'll come back to me with a name, and that'll be the one that runs.
Yo, let's just call you Aaman Patel for now, so people know who to look for when they need some quality stuff. So let's just do that. Do you a solid right there. So let's get on talking about some of the big performers in the league this week. Rahul Jarawala, we mentioned him on the show, finally returning to the top of the order where he helped steer the team to the finals last season. It's great to see him perform there. Scored 54 runs off of 48 balls. So we saw kind of a little bit of a typical Rahul Jarawala performances from last season's regular season. We do see him explode every once in a while, but he's going to guide you through those first overs nice and steady, and it's nice to see him right back in that role.
Yeah, it is. I always like to see Rahul bat up the order and play in these high pressure situations. And again, I've seen him open for a long time, so to see him get back up there and score 50 over the course of 2 innings was always good.
And another U19 that performed very well, Parth Patel, scoring 31 from 22, and then taking 3 wickets this weekend. Excellent job from Parth Patel. We haven't really talked about Parth Patel before, have we?
Yeah, it's good to see new faces jump up and kind of put his hand up and perform for his side. And again, 3 overs, 15 runs, 3 wickets in modern day T20. That's unbelievable figures there. And then with the bat as well, coming lower down the order, able to score 31 from 22. And again, just against the Chicago Tigers, when his team needed him, he stepped up and he performed, and always good to see out of a youngster.
Right, and both of those performances we mentioned, Rahul Jarawala and Parth Patel, both of those performances on, couple of weeks throughout the season would be good enough to get you the Emerging Player of the Week award just by themselves. Unfortunately, this week for them, we had some really great performances from the U21 crowd, with Sadawan scoring 37 runs from 29 balls himself across two innings for the New England Eagles. He's a fun batter to watch. He gets creative with the scoops and things like that. Then we've got Danish Patel. This one really stands out. 86 runs from 41 balls in his single game this week for the Manhattan Yorkers. So Danish Patel helping that team take a bigger grip of that second place spot in the East Division with his 86 runs. I was there to see this, and as I mentioned on the show, Philadelphians were feeling great with the total they put up, in the 180s in the first innings, which was more than par, it seemed, for the ground for that weekend. And then Danish Patel comes in, and I was actually on the PA at the game, so I'm calling out the runs at the end of every over, and the fans were moaning after every over when, they scored, I think, 80 runs in the power play. It was just, the writing was on the wall. This guy was going to lead him to victory, and he certainly did. That is a massive effort from a young kid in a playoff race, at an away ground. A massive effort there from a U21. What do you think about that?
Oh, it was phenomenal to see him do that. And we saw him at Church Street Park. He looked good there. I saw him last week at Prairie View, and again, looked good, very aggressive bat. And you just knew it was a matter of time before he clicked. And he's been sensational this year for the Yorkers, really stepped up top opening. We talked about it on the show. When you have good openers in T20 cricket, it just makes life so much easier. As you mentioned, 80 runs in the power play. At that stage, you feel like you're going to win any match in the world.
Yeah, it's hard to lose from there. When you're chasing 180 odd, and you have that kind of a start. Brilliant stuff for him. So then let's move on to some of the bowlers in the U21 crowd. Sammy Sohail, once again, we talked about him last week. 8 wickets. He had a 6-wicket haul in one of his games. He outdid himself from last week when he won the Emerging Player of the Week. This week he did even better. Fantastic. Unfortunately for him, that 6-wicket haul that he had was in a game where Nosh Kanjigi also had a 6-wicket haul to negate his and put the Dallas ahead to win the game. Unfortunately for Sammy Sahel, obviously not his fault. We're not, we always seem to punish people for losing the game, but man, I mean, 6 wickets, you can't really top that.
Yeah, and followed it up with a 2-wicket performance. Again, he's just been on the money for his side, and again, just carried on his form from last week where he was brilliant, won emerging player of the week. But a little bit different story this week. Doesn't seem like it's quite going to fall in his lap here.
Right, and then we got Heath Richards with 5 wickets himself in two innings bowled for the Atlanta team, the Atlanta Lightning. Fantastic bowler there. Great acquisition for them. So then we got Aditya Padala, who had 6 wickets in 3 innings. Aaman, who's it going to be this week?
Yeah, I think for the winning performance, I think for just the outstanding way he played and kind of overdoing a century of Milind Kumar's, I think we're going to have to give it to Danish Patel. Again, 86 from 41, really phenomenal. Puts up 80 runs in the power play for his side and leads them to a pretty comprehensive victory and moves them probably firmly into second place in that Eastern Division. So I think for this week, the DafaNews Emerging Player of the Week is going to be none other than Danish Patel of the Manhattan New Yorkers.
Well, congratulations, Danish Patel. I got to see you in real time do this in person, in the flesh. Otherwise, I might not have believed it. It was so good. So congratulations to you for getting the Emerging Player of the Week. Congratulations to Sammy Sahel for having an incredible week that just about any other time is going to lock that up.
Congratulations all around.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. And let's see who does it next week, where things are getting really real now. We're going to be in the playoffs very soon. So I'm excited to see who of the emerging players can help their team make it into the playoffs in the final couple weeks. Stay tuned.